Hi. So, with all these crazy challenges I've taken on, I thought it'd be nice to wind down a bit and do a more simple playthrough of one of my more favorite games, Hollow Knight. It'll still be an informative guide, but this time we're just going to stroll through and take our time seeing what the game has to offer for us. For simplicity's sake, I have broken this video down into 5 parts with timestamps, since people have been asking for those, so that you can jump around to whatever part you might need help with. Now that this introduction is finished, let's start with a simple playthrough of Hollow Knight. We begin our journey like all others before and after in King's Pass. This area serves to teach us how to move and use our nail, which is great for those who've never played before. Once you get used to everything, just make your way through the first area, grabbing this... Is it Geo or Geo?
Geo.
Okay, it's Geo. Grabbing this Geo rock if you are so inclined. Once at the end, break down the wall, drop down, and enter Dirtmouth. One of the most important things of this run is to talk to Elderbug because we aren't a heartless monster. We then rest at the bench and venture down into the Forgotten Crossroads. As with most playthroughs, we travel down the main room, move past Cornifer, enter the ambush room and fail the quick double on the enemies, and saunter on through the rest of this introductory area, making sure to grab plenty of Geo Rocks along the way. Next, we pay 50 of our local currency to unlock the Stag Station, crawl up, and enter this room with totally not foreboding music. Oh wow! A boss fight! I never could have seen this coming. Anyhow, the False Knight is our first powerful foe, and they don't put up much of a challenge. A neat little trick with this fight is that after the first tantrum the boss throws, we can break through this wall here and just completely skip the rest of the fight. After that, we enter the Ancestral Mound, rest at the bench, talk to the Snail Shaman, and obtain the Vengeful Spirit. From there, travel through the mound and save some soul for the boulder at the end, casting shots that from here on out will be referred to as fireballs. With the mound clear, the door opens, allowing us to make a shortcut, take this screen transition to the left, defeat another boulder, and enter Green Path. After a couple of rooms, we find a curious individual that quickly runs away from us. The ledge she was standing on is a bit too far for a normal jump, but with a bit of manipulating the enemy nearby, we can easily get up to it. After that, we get into a quick battle with a Moss Knight, which proves to be of little challenge to us. 3 fireballs in a single swing is enough to take them down. After that, we get into a fight with the Vengefly King to save some loser. As with before, it is a simple bout for a mini-boss to fall and a trove of Geo to be ours. After that, drop down a couple of rooms with at least 140 Geo on hand and unlock the Stag Station for Green Path. Finally, with all of that done, enter this uniquely shaped entryway and begin your duel against Hornet. As some general advice, do not be in the air if Hornet is on the ground and not in the middle of an attack. She loves to jump around a lot and lunge in a manner of directions, which definitely will be more complicated if not limiting yourself to one axis. Other than that, just beat her up and heal during staggers, and eventually she will go down. For our reward, we obtain the Mothwing Cloak. Once gotten, move to the right side of the arena to open up the gate and get smitten. Smote? Smote. Yeah, get smote, do a dash tutorial of sorts, and stag all the way back to Dirtmouth because I don't really want to walk through Green Path again. Unlock the door for our lovely little town, grab the bench, and go down once more. More down, more down, more down. There we go. Do a jump with our newly acquired ability to dash and go more down to enter Fungal Wastes. Take care when navigating the terrain here, as acid pools are asinine and a bit of that other word, and take the right route when reaching this split path. We see some valiant hero emerge from the ground while awkwardly standing away from whatever they have going on with them, and continue more and more, ignoring Hornet and entering the Mantis Village. All you need to do is hit this lever, take the upper path, climb up and around, and get the Mantis Claw. With our ability to cling to walls, we quit the game. And reopen it, so we appear back at the bench in Dirtmouth, before realizing that there was a more preferable bench to grab in Fungal Waste, but we won't worry about that. Anywho, we go left at the split this time, fighting through an ambush created by mushrooms that like to listen to a bit too much heavy metal. Something drops from above, but we ignore it, grab a shortcut, and move left to grab the Queen's Station Stag Station. We then run back into Fungal Waste, go through a large quantity of bouncy mushrooms, use our claw to scale these walls, and in this room, break open a well-hidden path. From there, we walk to the left and then walk back to break open the ground and enter Detroit. Now, from what I have heard, not many people that play Hollow Knight like Detroit for a number of reasons, but honestly, I can't see anything that is wrong with the place. We just have to navigate a maze of sorts until we drop down into a very nice place to rest and take our worries away. Once we have basked in the calm, we return to the insect-infested underbelly of Hallownest, going to the left and then up all the way to the next bench, which we won't grab. Instead, we will enter the failed tramway, dodge the worst enemy to ever have existed, open the shortcut, go through another nightmare zone, and grab the tram pass. Save and quit and re-enter your save file to warp back to the bench, and this time go to the right until you reach the tram. Insert the pass and ride it all the way to the right, climb your way up out of the rooms filled with hums of bees, and make it to Kingdom's Edge. This place is extremely vertical in terrain, so take care not to fall down if you can. For our journey, simply just keep climbing up and up until you reach this spot, in which then we will go over to the right to find an obstacle that is most inconvenient for us. Thankfully, we can recycle a strategy from before and bounce on an enemy with our nail to gain the height needed a few times to get up to the top and rest at the bench to the left. Going to the right leads us to Hornet once more and initiates the second proper boss of our playthrough. This time, she is faster than before, and once at roughly 2/3 health, she will start creating spike obstacles in the arena. These nasty things deal damage on contact, but thankfully your nail can hit them away. Additionally, in this fight, Hornet can parry your attacks occasionally, but that isn't really anything of note. Ultimately, this fight is one of endurance in attempting to maintain control of the battlefield. If you let the spikes build up, you won't have anywhere to dodge, so get rid of them as soon as you can. With enough time and patience, you can defeat Hornet and gain access to the cast-off shell. Walking to the innermost part grants us a very coveted collectible to get, the King's Brand. Now that we have the Mark of the Worm, we can make our way up to the main room of Kingdom's Edge and into the shortcut that'll lead to the City of Tears. The first thing for us to do is to go directly left and enter this building and through a secret passage to slay the Gorgeous Husk for 420 Geo. Using this, we can unlock the King's Station Stag Station. From here, take this passage down to gain care to not be impaled by spikes along the way. Once at the bottom, head to the left with careful platforming prowess, drop down and summon the tram to have a bench to rest at. Instead of continuing down, go to the left again and down the mystery hole! Get to this spot, defeat all of the enemies, and talk to the valiant hero from before, revitalized by our heroic efforts in rescuing her. We then go back, drop down, and properly enter the ancient basin. The first thing for us to do is ensure that we have 300 Geo, gather some soul, line ourselves up nicely between the right of the column and the spike, jump, shoot a fireball, and pogo off of it to get into the palace grounds. Marveling at this fantastic view, we take a long walk, break this wall, and pay to unlock the Palace Grounds Stag Station. This will save quite a bit of time for us later on, but for now just grab the bench and return to where you came from. Now, with our newly acquired branding, we gain access to... well, actually it doesn't pop on screen yet, so I guess I can't introduce it. We travel to the right, cross the pools of shade, and make it to the Lighthouse Climb of Terror. These little buddies hit for 2 masks, so take care to not get smacked around by them. My best suggestion for this part would be to move as fast as you can, but stay on guard. The shades will be quick to swarm should you remain idle, so reaching your goal should be achieved as fast as possible. Some will be in less than ideal spots, however, so waiting just for a moment so that they'll be out of the way for a dash is preferred. Once inside, simply hit the lever to illuminate the sea below and cross it to acquire the Shade Cloak. On our way out, be sure to grab the arcane egg that is lying here on the lower path and proceed to make your way back up the entire place, which has still yet to be named. Now, we take the tram back to Detroit, rest at the bench, rejuvenate our soul, and head into the land of eternal suffering. This time, though, we will be heading to the left, where our eyes won't be the most helpful. We will first want to travel over to the distant village to unlock the Stag Station there, as it will be a useful shortcut for later. The darkness does provide a bit of a challenge, though, especially with one wrong step sending us back to the very beginning of the room. I know the footage here doesn't really show it, but I am making sure to watch my step around collapsible floors and enemies I like to call ambush spiders, all while platforming, while not being able to, of course, see where I am. At the very end of our first trip, take care not to fall for the spike pit at the very end, and make it into the distant village for a brief moment of rest. Pay for the stag station, travel to any stop with a bench to rest at, go back to the distant village, and re-enter the darkness. This time, we are going to head up from the main room, which will require us to do a lot of vertical maneuvering. There are plenty of spikes and enemies to make it all the more irritating, so do be careful. To add to this, we need to once again pogo off of an enemy to fit into a tight gap to proceed. You know, in the dark where we can't see where the gap or the enemy are. And where if we lose all of our masks or fall into spikes, we have to redo the entire room. To our rescue comes the Mask Maker's room to reset our respawn point and provide a way to safely collect soul. Other than that, just trial and error until you get up there, leaving the beauty of Detroit for another day. With the cloak of darkness now lifted, we climb our way up with nothing but silence for what we had endured, grabbing a bench should we spare the geo, and entering Queen's Gardens. Going up and over sends us straight into an ambush, and it is a tough one. Waves of mantids and spiked foes swarm us, leaving not much time to heal any wounds that accumulate. My advice would be to stay away from the edges, as the gates that shut us out of leaving have unforgiving collision. Upon winning, make your way up and face a choice. We could choose to skip grabbing the stag station here and by extension the bench, but for the sake of not having to do a lengthened run back later on, I think I will take the time and geo to grab it now. At this junction, we will go up first, that we can cut down half of a shortcut from here to Green Path for later. We then save and quit to return to the bench, and then take the left path this time, encountering a peculiar barrier that our Shade Cloak helps us pass through just fine. A couple more platforms, and we encounter a second ambush. After the first enemy falls, the valiant hero from before drops in to assist us, fighting two of the birds at once. Once they too fall, the third boss of our run drops in to attack, the Traitor Lord. This boss will mimic their smaller counterpart when at close range, but when at a distance fires out the glaives like the flying mantids do. Additionally, when at 5/8 of their maximum health or less, the boss will generate shockwaves that we will need to use our Shade Cloak to dodge through. Cloth will help with a lot of the DPS for this fight, but don't be afraid to rack up the hits yourself to make this go by just a little bit faster. Should you need to heal, guide the Traitor Lord to one edge of the arena, and while they are dashing, make your way to the opposite end as quick as you can. If lucky, the glaives will be sent out. Dodge the first and line yourself up to heal before the second makes it to you. After enough damage is dealt, Cloth will, in a desperation move, slay the Traitor Lord before taking her final breath, leaving you alone to the carnage. Moving to the left and entering the beautiful chamber, we can meet the White Lady and be gifted a truly splendid white fragment. In order to beat Hollow Knight, we need to acquire the Dream Nail, as it is integral for breaking the seals needed to reach our end goal. Take the stag to the Forgotten Crossroads, and then go up and around to take the tram to... You'll get map indicators for which dreamer is located at where, but you'll also get smoten into a world unfamiliar. Platform across and talk to the mysterious figure, and you will be gifted with the Dream Nail. Upon waking up, you'll be greeted by the seer and the sights of the resting grounds, but we have work to do. Dream Nail the Whispering Root and gather the 20 essence present. It isn't much, but it's a start. After that is done, rest at the bench and flick the lever to open the resting ground stag station and take the stag over to the distant village. While I wish that we could go straight to the Dreamer, we unfortunately have a Whispering Root in the darkness we must take care of first, so let's go do that. Now, obviously you can't see much in this footage, so for your convenience, here is a map of every location Essence sits at, along with just about every ambush spider spot, so you know where they're going to appear. There are a couple of alternate paths to get around in this room, so take care to not be obliterated by the devouts resting throughout it. Once done with that, rest at this conveniently placed bench provided to us by these generous individuals of upstanding nature. Surely nothing bad will happen from this. Take a nap, and when you wake up, you'll find yourself placed just where you need to be. Thank you, generous individuals of upstanding nature. The Beast Den, much like most of Detroit, is winding and filled with creepy crawlies. Just navigate your way through, and at the end of your journey, you'll find Hera. With one seal broken and Hornet mourning the mother we obliterated, take the journey to the left and down to find a convenient bench and the way out. Take the stag to the hidden station and make your way to the City of Tears, clearing the Whispering Root along the way. Once that is done, head to the left, do a nice little pogo off this object, and make your way up into the tower, grabbing a very nicely placed bench for us. After that, drop down onto what is effectively an ambush, but the music doesn't play, so I'm not going to count it. Beat them up to open the way forward. Grab another shortcut or two, keep going up and reach this ominously quiet room. There is a conveniently placed breakable ceiling here, and if done, leads to a chandelier that will help make this fight slightly more tolerable. Drop it and enter the arena and say hi to the obligatory duo fight that proves 2 is better than 1, and the 4th boss, or bosses, of our run, the Watcher Knights. All 5 of these have 3 attacks you'd have to worry about. They roll at you, they roll and bounce at you with varying velocities, and they swing their nail a couple of times at you. The fight starts with 1, but after 20 seconds, 1 becomes 2, which will make the fight all the more difficult. Thankfully, there is a tell to know which rolling attack any given Watcher Knight will do. If they move backwards at the start of the roll, they'll stay on the ground. Adversely, a short hop will be done before doing a bouncing attack. The preferred attack for us is the nail swing because obviously having giant death balls flying around the arena makes our life a bit more difficult. When they inevitably do hit you, pull the same trick with Traitor Lord, and if you don't hear the sounds of rolling, get in a single heal. After a long and grueling fight, the final Watcher Knight goes down, leaving us to collect the spoils of our battle and meet with the resting body of Lurien. With 2 Dreamers down, we head down and unlock the shortcut to the left. We can then reach Lem's shop, which is locked. Go out to the fountain, talk to the bug, go back in, and sell the arcane egg and any journals and seals you may have accumulated. Go back up, get ambushed, refuse to unlock this bench because there's one 2 rooms away, and grab the city storeroom's stack station, and maybe don't forget the whispering root and symbol key like I did. You should have every stag station unlocked now, so take the stag to the stag nest where the staggering number of stags lay motionless. Skip the vessel fragment because we aren't cowards, and enter the Howling Cliffs. The only thing of note here for us is the Whispering Root, so just take care of that, followed by a save and quit to warp back to the bench. Take the stag over to King's Station, and this time head up and unlock this shortcut if you want. We will be traveling across the Blue Lake and into the infected crossroads. All we need to do here is enter this building and talk to Sly so he opens his shop back up in Dartmouth, which we will stag to. For sale in his shop is the Lumifly lantern for a hefty sum of 1,800 geo, but it is needed for us, so we purchase it. We then go back down into the infected crossroads, realize that we forgot to open the shortcut, stag to the forgotten crossroads stag station, and head right. With our lantern, we can pay the toll to open the door and enter Crystal Peak. The process of navigating this place is simple enough. Go really far up, do a sick pogo pickaxe jump, and collect the essence from the Whispering Root. A fun little note is that you can just stunlock these enemies and they'll never be able to hit you. Moving on, a short platforming section on the way back down gives us the dazzling Crystal Heart. With that, make your way back to Dirtmouth, go right of the hole we normally jump down, and dreamnail the Gravedigger for a single essence. Then enter the main room of Infected Crossroads, break the ceiling, and collect the essence for this Whispering Root. After that, revisit the Ancestral Mound, guide a Vengefly here, pogo up, and do the Whispering Root for this place as well. Once that is done, head back into the room where Cornifer was, go left, and do a quick little crystal dash here to avoid the acid. I play using keyboard, and a trick that worked for me was double tapping the super dash button. The second one just seemed to do the trick, so hopefully that makes this sort of thing easier for you like it did for me with getting into Fog Canyon. Say it with me, first thing we do is the Whispering Root, just to the right of where we came in. The bounciness is fun, but sadly short. We then traverse the calming landscape, eventually coming upon a beautiful building known only as the Teacher's Archives. It is here that we dodge more of the same, perform a super dash or two, and come face to face with the 5th boss of our run, Umu. The boss will either create a lot of electric shocks throughout the arena, or create a trail of electric shocks that follow you. To our rescue comes the bestest boy, striking at the weakness of this foul creature, leaving a window to attack. After enough of these, the boss will go down. Like, a lot enough to go down. With the gate now open, we can super dash one more time, interact with the tube, talk to bestest boy, and gaze upon the final dreamer, Monomon. With all 3 Dreamers now gone, we can head straight for the final boss of the game. I, however, want to finish whatever the white fragment we have makes, so I'm going to elect to not rush right into that. So for us, we make the shortcut to Queen's Station, bench, travel into fungal wastes, and do the Whispering Route in there, save and quit, and then stag over to the hidden station. From there, go up and tram over once more into Kingdom's Edge, but this time we will be breaking into a secret area known simply as the Hive. For now, we only have to pogo a bead to go farther in, do the Whispering Route, leave, and climb up to the edge proper to do the Whispering Route up there before save and quitting to once again warp back to the bench. Tram back to the Ancient Basin, stall ball into Palace Grounds again, and take the tram to Green Path. Remember that shortcut we partially opened before? We are going to finish that and then do the Whispering Route there now. After that, we can make a detour to the Trader Lord Arena to Dreamnail Cloth, and then do the Queen's Gardens Whispering Route. From there, save and quit back to the bench yet again, take the stag to Resting Grounds, and talk to the Seer to unlock the Spirit's Glade. And here we have a Whispering Route and a lot of spirits to Dreamnail. Should we Dreamnail a spirit though, Revik will teach us a lesson about prodding innocent little bugs. Should we parry them, we get a window of opportunity to gather more essence. Once you have finished that, take the stag over to the City of Tears, unlock the Pleasure House, Dreamnail Poggy Thorax, and listen to a very calming performance from Marissa. Next, we stag over to the Hidden Station, tram to Kingdom's Edge, enter the Hive, kill some bees, tram back to Ancient Basin, stall ball back into Palace Grounds, stag back to Resting Grounds, talk to the Seer, get a lot of junk, and the all-important Awoken Dreamnail. All that is left for us to do is to stag to Hidden Station one last time, take one final walk, and Dreamnail the lustrous husk that lied dormant awaiting us. We stroll in, nod to the guard, and fight. The King's Molds are tough foes that deal 2 masks of damage if they hit you, so be cautious of their ranged capabilities. Once defeated, the gate will open, leaving us to enter. For our first trick, we need to damage boost off of this Wings mold to gain a small amount of height, followed by a pogo to be able to get to the bench. After that comes another King's mold, which we will also have to dispatch. If you can, save up some soul before ending the fight. Immediately following that arena, we will need to jump out, reverse the direction we face, and perform a stall ball with not much in terms of visual guide to assist us this time. Once up, flip the switch for the light, go back to the left, and ride the elevator up. There are some spikes here and there, but nothing to worry about. After that comes the main room, and another bench. Going to the left shows a large number of saw blades, moving and stationary. Take care to dodge them and head down to use your super dash to skip a fair chunk. After that comes this jump. What you need to do is jump in between the platform and saw blade, pogo the Wheel of Doom, and land on the ground. The problem comes from being able to wedge yourself in there. A good tip to keep in mind is that dashing into a wall and immediately jumping off saves your jump for after the dash has finished its entire distance, allowing you to go out before going up, pogoing, and doing the trick successfully. The next room starts with a saw climb, followed by tight gaps between obstacles, but it isn't anything too hard. Once done with that, dash through a gap, drop down, super dash or spike pogo to this platform, and move over to the right to ignite the second light. As for the right side, it's more like before. The only notable thing here is a skip you can do in the second room by doing a pogo on this saw and then dashing to the platform. Other than that, it's some drops to flick the third light on. Between the elevator and the next bench, there's a small platforming challenge that serves as an appetizer for the main course. Now comes, debatably, the toughest part of the palace. Going in with full soul meter, go through all of these platforming challenges, which take roughly a minute each attempt. You need to jump at the last possible moment, face the other way in midair, and cast 3 fireballs to inch yourself over to the left just enough so that when you turn around again to dash, you'll just barely cling to the platform with your claw and climb up. From there, pogo on the saw and go through the screen transition to not have a chance of falling back down again. Being careful to not lose masks as you have no way to heal, make your way over here and break this secret passage to skip some more of the obstacles. Drop through the spikes, open the passage, head on through, and super dash and arrive just below this beloved wings mold. Pogo up the saw wall, dodge the blade, super dash through, time your climbs, and reach the final challenge. Positional deviation. Thankfully for us, we have a wall we can cling to, and hitting the wings molds reset their position, so it is as simple as hitting them and timing everything to conquer the aforementioned final challenge. All that is left is a super dash, tight jump, and one last use of the crystal heart to make it to the end. The trip here was a long and tough one, but it was worth it. With everything said and done, let's grab our reward. With the King's Soul now reforged, we can finally equip the thing. Oh, it's, kind of refusing to stay. Come on. There we go. Ooh, and with some nice purple visuals as well. King's Soul equipped, we can enter this dark pit once more and properly enter the Abyss. Due to our recently acquired charm, a brand new path further down becomes available to us, which we take a short trip through until we reach this curious little thing. Dream nailing the object starts something I like to call the Void Climb, which is just you leaving the Abyss, but without enemies. Get to the top, ignore lore significance, and acquire Void Heart. This newly changed charm only serves for getting different endings, but you cannot deny it looks awesome. Wait, what do you mean I have to climb up this entire thing again? After coming up once again, stallball back into the palace grounds one last time, take the stack to Dirtmouth, hop down to the infected crossroads, and enter the Temple of the Black Egg. Once inside, take a walk and reflect on your journey until now. The foes you conquered, the friends you made, the dark Detroit trips, and of course, the challenges you overcame. Take one last rest at the bench, read the tablet, and oh, hey, 23%, that's pretty cool. Anyways, enter the final room, break the chains one by one, and start your fight with As the final boss, they provide quite the challenge for us. They combine the parries and charges from Hornet, this green clutter of Umu, the volatile bouncing of the Watcher Knights, and the relentless attack speed of the Traitor Lord. With you attacking more and more, the Hollow Knight regresses into more and more of a self-destructive and infection-driven monster, changing the attacks to be more erratic as time goes on. With enough practice and patience, it can be overcame and... Oh, hey Hornet! See obvious dream particles, so dream nail it is. Welcome to the true final boss of Hollow Knight. First of all, should you find yourself in a position where damage is seemingly inevitable, provide minimizing the damage you'll take. Hitting the bottom bound of the screen or the stationary spikes in phase 2 and 3 will only deal 1 mask instead of 2. Secondly, I highly suggest counting off the numbers of volleys that she does with attacks. In phase 1 and 2, the sword she summons from above and the sides will come in sets of 4, with the beams and orbs in sets of 3. This is changed in phase 4, where she will only do 2 horizontal sword sets and no vertical. Should you find yourself in need of healing, I find the best time to do so at the moment she fires off the 3rd in her set of light beams, as the radiance will remain stationary for a while without doing much, giving ample time to heal. The important thing here is patience. Don't rush the fight. You aren't on a time limit. She won't heal any hits you deal as long as you stay alive. And if you stick to that, thank you for joining me on this very simple playthrough of Hollow Knight, everyone. This is the second time I have ever beaten the Radiance, and I'd like to think that this was a good second time going through casually. I'd like to give an obligatory mention of thanks to Scurry, as their run that had similar actions to mine provided good reference to certain wingless skips, and overall it was a lot of help, so big ol' thanks to them. I'll also give thanks to Kama Killer for the wingless White Palace route that I followed carefully so that I wouldn't get terribly lost. I've used that video for reference every time I've gone through White Palace, and probably will do so again in the future. Next, I'd like to show an important resource known as the Hollow Knight Interactive Map. This little thing displays a wealth of information from NPC locations to skips and shortcuts that helped with my personal routing of this journey. Finally, thanks to you, the audience, for tolerating this experimental sort of video I made. I know it wasn't of the usual format of, can you do X with Y constraint, but I just want to have fun here, and I think I successfully accomplished that. As for the obligatories, if you liked the video, then drop a like and maybe a comment telling me what you thought about it. I really enjoy seeing what everyone says, and it just kind of means a lot to me. If you want to see more content from me, then you should subscribe and ring that bell, as I try to prioritize quality over quantity with these videos to the best of my ability, so each upload has me giving it my all for what it is. I have been Generic Mystic. and I thank all of you fellow entities of the interwebs for joining me on a simple playthrough of Hollow Knight. I hate this game.